When I was a kid, there was a show on TV called Romper Room. And I wanted to be on Romper Room more than anything. It was like cool kindergarten on TV. It was a franchise. A lot of cities across the country had their own Romper Room production, so it wasn't like you had to go to New York or Hollywood or someplace to be on the show. They had them everywhere. Depending on where you lived, you might have Miss Joelle or Miss Donna or Miss Melanie as your very own Romper Room teacher slash hostess. In St. Louis, where I grew up, the hostess was Miss Lois. And Miss Lois was the kindest, prettiest TV kindergarten teacher slash hostess ever. When you were on Romper Room, you were one of only 6 lucky kids who got to be on live TV for half an hour every morning for an entire week. They'd give you milk and cookies to eat, and you got to do fun stuff like march in a circle, or bounce a ball, or Miss Lois would read you a story as you sat at her feet on a big comfortable rug on the floor. The mascot of the show was the doobie. Now, the doobie was a giant, slightly androgynous cartoon bumblebee with a smiley, happy face and huge eyes. The doobie was our role model because he was always doing the right thing. He was perfect. On the other hand, his arch nemesis, the don't be, well, you can pretty much imagine. Yeah? Always the wrong thing. So, Miss Lois would take a moment every day with the bees and instruct us all on proper behavior, right and wrong. Do be a mother's helper. Don't be lazy. Do be a toy sharer. Don't be toy selfish. I really wanted to be a doobie. Anything to make Miss Lois happy. But the main thing to me was, even though it was really fun to watch all this cool stuff on TV, if you were on Romper Room, you got to be on TV. And that's what I wanted most of all. And you'd think I'd have any inside track to being on the show, because my dad was a TV engineer. That meant he worked as a cameraman and technician at KTVI Channel 2, which was then the ABC network affiliate in St. Louis. And that's where the broadcast of Romper Room happened. See, he worked with Miss Lois almost every day. When I bragged to my pint-sized pals at school about my Romper Room connection, they were envious. They told me I was such a luck. Yeah, I was a luck. But only by the circumstances of my birth. It was like being born inside Hollywood, except in St. Louis. But that sword cut both ways. The thing I really wanted to be on TV, on Romper Room, with Miss Lois was beyond me. Why? Because my dad worked at the TV station. I couldn't be on the show due to some kind of, I don't know, legal thing, conflict of interest or something. Now, my dad made it up to me, though, with tons of Romper Room swag, which he brought home from work every now and again. Stuff like a big inflatable punch ball with the official Romper Room logo on it, a Jack-in-the-Box. And then there was the official Jack-in-the-Box itself. Turn the crank, it plays Pop Goes the Weasel, the theme song of Romper Room. And then all of a sudden this clown pops out waving its arms and bobbing its creepy smiley clown face. That scared the crap out of me, to be honest, but it was Romper Room swag from Miss Lois. So I forced myself to love the creepy clown. And then there was the coolest thing of all, the tie clip. See, not everybody got one. It was just for staff and their families. Even cooler, because my dad and I both got one as a gift from Miss Lois, her very self. That meant both me and my dad could show up to church every Sunday sporting our shiny red and gold tie clips with the Jack-in-the-Box on them. Tie clip for my clip-on tie. I was such a luck. But time passed, I grew up a bit, and by that time I was 10 or so, my taste in television shows, well, it changed to more sophisticated fare like Batman and the Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island, and I hadn't seen Miss Lois for years. Until one night, my parents invited a bunch of work friends over to our house for a party. My dad's TV engineer pals, some front office folks, and Miss Lois. Now, here's some inside information for you. Miss Lois was married. I know. How did that not become a scandal? Toddlers just don't care. Of course, she was there with her husband. And it was an adult party, so I was upstairs in my bedroom while they were downstairs sipping margaritas and dipping chocolate fondue and playing Twister or whatever. I was upstairs watching TV in my room, munching Cheetos and hanging out with my dog Snoopy. Snoopy was a terrier poodle mongrel who we rescued from the Humane Society and who crawled under my bed to sleep every night when I put on my PJs and settled down. My dad came upstairs to check on me. It was getting late. It was bedtime. And I had just one request. Could I say hello to Miss Lois? It had been a few years, and I just wanted to say, hey, you know, see how my old TV star pal was doing. He said he'd ask. I waited. I got a little nervous. I wondered, after all these years, would she still remember her #1 fan? Would she care to come upstairs and say hello? And finally, I heard them coming up the stairs, my dad and Miss Lois. Should I call her Mrs. Lois since she was here with her husband? And there she was finally, framed in my bedroom doorway, lovely as always, smiling and wobbling on her stylish heels. She slurred a polite hello to me. And dog lover that she was, asked about my dog Snoopy. Well, Snoopy smelled the margaritas a mile away and wasn't having it. But Miss Lois was determined. She, in her tight dress and pointy, high-heely, sandally, fashionable shoes, got down on her hands and knees and started crawling across my bedroom floor. Snoopy growled. Snoopy never growled. Miss Lois crawled closer. Oh, come here, Snoopy. Come on out here. What's wrong? Snoopy inched farther. I wouldn't hurt you for all the tea in China. Right then, I wished I was in China, or hiding under my bed with my dog, because I had just discovered that my childhood idol, the first TV star I'd ever met, had feet of clay. I wish she'd taken some of her own Romper Room advice that night crawling across the floor of my room. Don't be a drunken floor crawler. Don't be that. I was disappointed, to put it politely, and I promptly retired my Romper Room tie clip. But years later, I realized Miss Lois taught me something pretty important that night. What she did on Romper Room helped me learn at a very young age about right and wrong, about the wonder of stories and imagination. And she made it all the more special by being a real person to me, being kind, knowing my name. But also, that night, crawling across the floor of my bedroom, she pulled back the curtain on what I saw back then as the wondrous world of TV. It showed me that people, they're just people who do a job, who deserve to have a few drinks and blow off some steam every once in a while, like anybody. It helped me to realize that maybe I could go to work in that same world, which is something I wanted to do even then, to create stories that might inspire somebody else to think, to dream, to laugh. That night helped me understand that it was possible, but only looking back on it. So thanks, Miss Lois, and Dad, and Mom, too, for letting me wear that goofy, wonderful Romper Room Jack-in-the-Box tie clip to church. I still have it.